Hey guys, Sergeant Blankenship. We're still in our active shooter series. This is the instructor video for 3.1. We're still responding to an active shooter building 400 last known location command post. A couple things that we can do for this exercise. Again, it can be all nonverbal. We just need to have this conversation with post 3. So who responds? Hopefully they're already into the mindset that they are going to respond, right? They're more than likely going to be the person in charge of this whole response process. So we can just have that conversation with them like, hey, who responds? It's going to be them, but we can also start prepping them for that flight chief role, or even really that BDOC role if you want to get into it, and start asking them, if you were flight chief, who would you have respond? And that can lead you into conversations about personnel versus resources, or just talking about some BDOC considerations. Now when you start talking about priority of life, ask them, hey, during this situation, who takes priority of life? What is your priority of life chart? Because that's really going to start dictating what they do on scene. They should, or where we should end up leading them, hostage takes priority overall. I have to consider my buddy, my team, and then finally myself. Right? This is where you want to leave them with that priority of life. And again, whenever we start talking about this, we're going to revisit it when we start talking about pace. So we need to start asking them, hey, what is your pace? Are you going to be more deliberate or dynamic? Can you hit the gas? Can you hit the brakes on certain instances? So for example, the approach, right? We might want to hit the gas a little bit as far as getting that vehicle to a place where we want to start dismounting. We're going to hit the gas there. We're going to hit the brakes on the actual approach, because we need to, when we're actually walking on the approach, because we need to be able to take that shot if something happens. We might hit the gas if it's a hallway. We might hit the brakes if we don't have any audible cues as to where the shooter is. But once we get that, now we're going to hit the gas there, right? But really, what we want to start focusing on is what is your pace? So ask them, what is your pace at the door? And hopefully we can start walking through this articulation process for them to realize that their pace is dictated by that priority of life, right? For me, if I'm the only one, and we can start talking about pace, we can translate that into a VTA, right? A variable threshold assessment, or slicing that pie. If I'm the only one there at the time, and I'm at that door that the shooter is in, my pace is going to be a little bit different than if I have 4 or 5 guys behind me, right? And I have to start taking this into consideration. If I'm the only one there responding to that active shooter, my self-preservation matters a little bit more because of the hostage, right? Because I'm the only one there to take care of this problem. So I'm going to opt to do a VTA, right? And here's kind of my rule of thumb. If I'm the only one there, I'm doing a VTA at the door to try to engage this shooter from a place of control. If it's me and one other guy, I'm still going to do that VTA process from outside the door, from a point of control, to hopefully get an engagement from that threshold, right? But now when I start talking about, hey, if I have a 3 or 4 man room entry, I'm not necessarily doing that VTA that we're accustomed to anymore. I'm not stopping and slowly eating away a little bit of that room, right? It's going to be more of a flowing VTA for me. It's going to be more of a hallway entry for me. So if you want to think of it that way, I'm going to enter this room just like a hallway. And if you all aren't familiar with the hallway procedures, we're not stopping at the door and starting to read the room. It's more of a continuous flow inside the room. And I'm doing that because I know now that if I go down, if I get shot, I got 2 or 3 more of my buddies behind me that are going to take care of the shooter, right? So we need to start talking about pace, and that's the kind of conversation that you need to end up having. Now we need to finally ask them, hey, are you waiting to enter the building, or are you just going to go ahead and enter on your own? Make sure that they're able to actually walk you through. Not necessarily, hey, yeah, I'm just going to go inside the building, but ask them, why are you going inside the building by yourself? Or if they say, hey, I'm going to wait for a teammate, why are you waiting to go inside this building for yourself? Make sure that they're able to articulate and walk you through why they're making these decisions. Now, where we need to end up with this conversation is make them understand that there's no waiting anymore. We have to go in. We have to go in by ourselves, no matter what. And the way that I articulate it to my guys, from a law enforcement standpoint, if I show up to a school and there's an active shooter and I need to retrieve my rifle, I'm going to dismount my car, get to the back of my vehicle, get my rifle. If I don't physically see you, I'm not waiting on you. Even if I do see you, I'm still going to keep progressing. It just might be at a different pace to allow you to hurry up and get behind me. But if I don't see you, I'm going in by myself. That's where we need to end up letting them know that there is no waiting anymore. I know in a lot of our SOPs or QRCs, we were always instructed to meet at like a location and together and then go to the shooter. That can't happen anymore. We have to push directly to the shooter, right? If you guys have any questions about this, reach out to the training department.